we don't find a way to serve these populations at a price that we can afford, pretty soon all we're going to do is write the Health and Human Services budget. And so now, in this introduced version of the bill, Health and Human Services is roughly equal to public education, which has traditionally been our largest expenditure. That's not to diminish the needs that we have in this area, but we cannot continue to fund 14% annual growth in Article 2, which is what we've had roughly over the last 10 years, and hope to build all the facilities that our institutions of higher education have, to build the highways that we need and the water infrastructure that we need for our state to continue growing. And so there's going to be some tough choices that we have to make. But I don't think those choices have to be whether we're going to serve that population or not. It's going to be about how they are served. And there are going to be some things that some people like and that some don't. And whoever's on that Article 2 work group, these are going to be some tough things to battle through. But I'm telling you, this is the heart of the budget. This is what decides how we look to the rest of the world, because I think it says something about who we are, how we take care of these people. But it's also how we are going to deal with the other important parts of the budget. And so there's going to be some choices that have to be made, and the choices don't always mean a reduction in services. That's not what we're looking to narrow the group of people who are served. I'd like to see that expanded, but we can't do it the way we've always been doing it. And Senator Nelson, you filed, 57 and 58, I think?
7 and 8.
Seven, yeah.
Your Senate bill numbers, which is a good
sign, are going to be a very important part of making this budget work. And so I just want to sort of lay that down, that by not doing things the way we've always done them, I think we can look for ways to serve these populations without having the runaway cost programs that we're experiencing, and it's simply not sustainable in its current form. We can't tax our citizens enough to pay for what's going on in Article 2 right now.
Mr. Chairman, can I add to that? And I appreciate your comments, and I've been thinking about this too, and thank you. I think Senate Bill 7 will help, and certainly last session Senate Bill 7 helped. But I really think as we go through this process, all of us need to think about not continuing to fund programs in the same way and expect different results. We keep adding more money, and more money helps in some cases, but I think that we need to look at, and I'm going to be asking every agency, so this is a warning, what outcome are we trying to achieve with this funding? And your mention of IDD is a perfect example. We need to look at how we're spending that money. And if we could spend it differently, I personally believe we need to put some more money in mental health. But I don't want to just put more money into it. We need to also look at spending it differently and getting more bang for our buck. So I appreciate your comments, and that's what I'm going to be working on.
Thank you. Senator Zaffirini, thanks for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Didn't really need any patience at all. I frankly appreciate your comments, and especially appreciate your starting the process with Article 3 and then Article 2. I think that speaks volumes for you as chair and for the focus of this committee as we go forward. And I look forward to working with you in that capacity.
Well, we have tremendous capital needs in our higher institutions of higher education, and this is in direct competition with that, what we do here. If we keep doing things the same way, we have to learn to do them smarter.
Well, you're wise to prioritize, and I appreciate it. Thank you. To the LBB, on page 16, we address the issue of Medicaid and What is the rationale for not including the caseload growth, Medicaid caseload growth in Senate Bill 1, given that the budget instructions allow the agency to request those cards as part of those base requests?
If I might, John McCady, LBB. The budget bill is introduced as a product of our board, and I believe that the chairman just spoke to this, and I believe he's spoken to it before. The approach for Article 2 and Medicaid in particular was to kind of provide a starting point and not approach funding for Medicaid the way it's been approached previously, and break down and have this committee analyze each sort of cost element. So that was, I think that's been sort of the stated rationale. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Mr. Chairman.
You're not doing that, and I appreciate what you said. I would say that, you know, I wanted to initiate a thoughtful discussion about Medicaid caseload growth, and I think automatically funding the caseload growth results in another $399 million roughly in all funds. Does that sound about right to you guys? And something on that order. And then if we just automatically went in and looked at the cost growth, we're talking about $832 million of GR. If we do that, our work is done, folks. We've spent all the money that there is available to spend in the budget of uncommitted general revenue. So you know, we need to have a thoughtful discussion about how we're going to do this, because we do have more money, but we don't have an unlimited amount of money.